1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which ended up winning that game. So, maybe they looked at that and like, hey, we need another weapon for Andy Dalton. Not only that, you said they got John Ross, they got A.J. Green. Now that offense is kind of looking explosive all of a sudden.
Yeah.
What is your guys' take biggest, I wouldn't say surprises, but best overall draft? Who did it the best?
I still got to go with Cleveland right now. As bad as they have been consistently year after year after year, I have to say Cleveland right now, best draft so far.
Greg?
It's tough. I really like Cleveland. I really like Houston. And I'll tell you, another team that I really like is the San Francisco 49ers.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Solomon Thomas. They got a stack load of picks. And Reuben Foster, they traded back into the first round to grab someone, in my opinion, that should have went between 10 and 15. I think he's going to be the quarterback of that defense moving forward, and they really got a steal. So just based on that alone,
congrats to John Lynch for
he looks like he's
rookie GM.
He looks like he's not a rookie,
looking
doesn't
like
he?
a seasoned pro. I mean, he's stacking up guys like it kind of reminds me of the old Tampa 2 with
Breaking news, the Philadelphia Eagles select wide receiver Mac Hollins from North Carolina. Another wide receiver just to add to our depth.
Here we go.
I like this guy.
Anyways,
you like that guy? How much do you know about that guy, Eric? So anyways, about I'm kidding.
Lynch is drafting guys that kind of reminisce of Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, the Warren Sapp, so he's kind of stacking, being like that San Francisco core, those guys.
San Francisco drafted DeForest Buckner last year from Oregon, so, I mean, you look at that line. I mean, their D-line now is actually going to be pretty decent. With Solomon Thomas now, you pair him up, and then you got Reuben Foster back there, who they said they were debating on taking him with their first pick. Like, that's how much he liked Reuben Foster. Was like, there was actually debate, they said, on the board between Foster and Solomon Thomas.
One area they needed to address was quarterback. They did draft C.J. Beathard out of Iowa, but with all the picks that they had, you want to roll with Brian Hoyer.
Apparently they said that they're sold on Brian Hoyer being able to at least get them. The good thing about him is if they do believe in Beathard or moving forward, Hoyer will be a good mentor because Hoyer's been a backup and a starter in the league, and he knows what it takes to kind of get someone else up to speed. And then there's also the speculation that Kirk Cousins is on a 1-year deal, and after that deal is over, that they already have parameters in place for him to sign in San Francisco. If that's true, I don't know if it's true, but I've been hearing a lot about it. If it is indeed true, then they'll get their quarterback next year.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he'll be back with his boy Kyle Shanahan.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I like the Chargers draft.
Yeah.
Fantastic draft.
Mike Williams and Forrest Lamp, the guard. I mean, you get a little more protection for Phillip Rivers, and you give him another weapon.
The Houston Texans draft to me also is fantastic. Yeah. Getting your quarterback at 12, which in my opinion is the best quarterback in the draft, and then also Donta Foreman. I think that they're going to be formidable. That whole division is getting a lot better. I mean, if you're a Jacksonville fan, you cannot be upset about their draft.
No,
I mean,
they were last year, and then look what happened. They had a good draft last year.
They did, and they've had a really good offseason and another good draft. It looks like so. I mean, eventually it has to stick, right? It literally is all on Blake Bortles.
It has to fall on Blake Bortles. It has to.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to step it up.
So, how do you gentlemen feel? Since you want to interrupt me about my draft pick, that's okay though. I'll talk to you guys later about that.
Arizona had a good one too.
They had a very good one, yeah. They beefed up their
even Jamal Adams falling to number 6 to the New York Jets when some people had him going top 2 or 3. I think that the Jets, got the guy that they wanted. Unfortunately, I don't like to say that, but I think that they've had a pretty decent draft so far.
The heir apparent to, as L. Bushman calls him, the mouth-breathing idiot, Eli Manning. Giants have taken Davis Webb from Cal.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yep.
The heir apparent to Eli. How do we feel about this? Honestly, how much longer do we think Eli is going to go? How many more years do you think?
I don't know. It all depends.
He doesn't get hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I see him being there for a little bit longer than what everybody else is saying.
So
he doesn't get hurt.
Okay, so was this a good pick for the Giants? What do you think? Or was it a wasted pick?
I mean, they maybe needed a back. I mean, I don't even know who the backup was to Eli. So
is it Ryan Nassib?
Yes,
I believe that's who it is.
Yeah, from Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Yep. So it's either an indictment against him that they don't think he, can really do anything if he's called upon, or they just wanted a third stringer.
Yeah, I just think it's a developmental quarterback which has a lot of upside. That some people said teams might trade back into the first round to get this guy, and I believe they got him in the 3rd round. Correct? if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So why not take him, develop him behind Eli Manning? If they do decide they want to move on in 2-3 years, then in Davis Webb's ready, then so be it. If he's not, then I don't really think it's a wasted pick.
I was really surprised they didn't grab a running back, which they need.
I think LeGarrette Blount's going to end up signing there, and I think that, after them not drafting Dalvin Cook, and he was right there for him, and we'll see how it goes. There's still some decent running backs left on the board. That's what I think is going to happen.
I mean, they still have,
which is going to upset me because I don't know why New England didn't re-sign him. We still don't have really a through the tackle runner. We just have a bunch of scat backs basically over there right now.
The Giants still have Darkwa, so he'll be healthy this season too. So.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Rashad Jennings. I mean, he's killing on Dancing with the Stars right now, but I still think he's a pretty good running back.
All right, well,
he can't hold on to the ball that much.
Let's take a real quick break, come back, touch on some other sports news here because, we have the NBA playoffs, and then, of course, we got to talk about Rays baseball because Great Al Bushman's been sitting here patiently waiting to talk about his Rays.
Actually, I was all about football today. But.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well, you got your hat on, so I figured you got something you want to say.
No. But we'll talk about him.
We're going to take a break. This is Whole Nother Level. You're listening to us again. 813-699-5353 is the number. Be back in a moment.
And we are back. This is Whole Nother Level live here on Spreaker.com and Raw Talk Online as well.
813-699-5353 is the number to call. Chime in.
So I know I pressed play, but anyways, if we missed the first half of the show, we kind of did a wrap-up of the first rounds 1 and 2 on Thursday and Friday as well.
Yeah, so basically we're all in agreement that there was probably about 5 or 6 teams that really hit it big this time on draft day. We all like the Houston Texans draft. We all like the Cleveland Browns draft, believe it or not, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears were kind of like, what's going on there? But we did like the San Francisco 49er draft. And of course, everybody likes their own draft because why wouldn't you?
Well, we were unbiased.
I hated my
it.
draft.
Yeah,
and
it's terrible.
No.
The fact that we talked about, Dalvin Cook falling out of the first round, but then winding up in Minnesota. The Great Al Bushman, you made a very key, crucial point when you said this is probably one of the best places for him to go.
Yeah,
he can show his true on-the-field talent, and the off-the-field character issues can kind of go away because he's in a state, in an area where he can't really get into that much trouble.
If you get into trouble in Minnesota, there's something wrong with you.
not a lot of trouble to get into there.
No, it's not.
And then probably the best thing that we said if you missed the show earlier is next time we do this draft, we're all going to pick one player. And if that player slides, every time we say his name,
take a shot.
We have to take a shot. So in this case, whoever had Jonathan Allen, whoever had Dalvin Cook, or whoever had Reuben Foster, they might not have made it to the end of the first round.
They wouldn't have made it out of the first 15.
Depends what shots we were taking.
Okay,
but we'd have to go something fruity.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, as much as I said Dalvin Cook on 14, I'd have been done with the show. I'd have been on the couch. Just
Eric would have been sleeping in
the
the couch in Carl's back office.
That's right.
Exactly. Well, Carl would have been drunk because he said all that as well.
Exactly where I would have been. Dwayne would have been joined me after the Giants had the opportunity to get him, and they missed up on him. So
let me ask you guys this:
Sure.
We were talking about who had really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Who were the head scratchers? Like somebody that's like you're just kind of shaking your head.
I would say Cincinnati.
Do they really know what they're doing in that room?
Cincinnati and Chicago.
Definitely Chicago.
Those are definitely the two that pop off the map. I mean, some of the other ones are just underwhelming. I mean, nobody's really saying anything about the Bills draft.
Yeah,
it's like
yep.
Tennessee had a good draft. They drafted guys they had needs in, especially on defense and stuff too. So.
Tennessee, but okay, let me ask you guys this question: what about Atlanta? What about Atlanta's draft? What do you guys feel about that? Because clearly, I know when we were doing the show at Old School, the one need that we all agreed upon that they needed was defense.
They drafted a safety. What's his name?
They took McKinley in the first
they took
round.
McKinley,
who was very excited.
Then they took
a little bit too.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was dropping F-bombs, S-bombs, D-bombs. I mean, every other bomb there is. Jaeger bombs.
Ain't even signed his first check. He already
find me later.
He already owes part of it back to the NFL.
I doubt they'll find him though.
They may want to get him some counseling, like Arthur Blank. You may want to have somebody on call for him. But as a talent, I mean,
really good.
And they have a young defense. I mean, they had 3 rookies that started for them last year on that defense.
And now they don't have a pick till the 4th. Well,
I don't know. I was kind of underwhelmed with their draft, to be honest.
It's only 2 linebackers so far. That's it.
I mean,
are they going to go defense the rest of the way? You think to kind of build this up, or
I mean, look, their offense is
all right.
I would say draft maybe a wide receiver if there's one available because Julio Jones got hurt last season. I mean,
yeah, but you still got Taylor Gabriel. You still got Mohamed.
I would say
Sanu.
draft a wide receiver just for depth, just to
Okay.
have some guy there.
All right.
Yeah. Go DB. They got the 2 linebackers, but their DBs didn't play fantastic last year.
Their best corner didn't even play last year. I think Trufant was hurt.
Yep.
So, I mean, hopefully they get him back.
Didn't he come back in the second half of the season?
Did he?
I thought he did.
Okay. That's
Trufant? Yes.
Yeah.
He did?
Yes.
Okay. I was trying to think if he was out for the whole.
What about Denver? I mean, Denver's got an offensive tackle, defensive end, a wide receiver, and a cornerback.
They definitely had a need an offensive line because
They took Bowles, didn't they? The
Yeah,
kid
yeah,
from
Garrett,
Utah.
Yep, they took him. They took DeMarcus Walker from Florida State, defensive end, in the second round. Then they've got Carlos Hernandez from Louisiana, a wide receiver, and then Brendan Langley, cornerback from Lamar, and that was a compensatory pick. So I just, with Denver being so up in the air, no pun intended, you've got Paxton Lynch, and you've got
Trevor Siemian.
Simeon. Thank you.
Well, they got to give Paxton Lynch a chance because they drafted him high last year, so you got to give him a chance. Unlike another team that I know that has drafted somebody pretty high and still hasn't given them a chance, the Jets. So, your boy Christian Hackenberg, and they never really gave Bryce Petty a chance because they drafted in the 3rd round the year before him.
I said all last year, Bryce Petty deserves a shot. Bryce Petty deserves a shot.
They gave it to him. I think it was like week 15 and 16 when they had zero chance of doing anything.
When they were mathematically gone from not
and
only
Brandon
this
Marshall
season,
barely
but next
played.
season.
And yeah, I mean, who knows what's going on over there. Let's switch gears for a second, though, and switch over to the NBA since a couple series ended yesterday and then one got extended to 7 games. The Boston Celtics came back from an 0-2 deficit in the series, partially in place that Rajon Rondo got injured and he didn't play the rest of the series, but they took the next 4, won the series in 6. They're moving on to play another team which won in 6 games, the Washington Wizards. I wanted to get you guys' take on what you think about that series, which is starting tomorrow, actually. And then also the Clippers playing with heart without Blake Griffin, pushing Utah to 7 games. And I know that we all thought that would be a pretty good series that would go the distance. So
I said it was going to go 7. Most of you gentlemen here, I'm assuming, thought 6. You thought Utah. Frank, it was your upset pick, and you were like, Utah's going to beat the Clippers. Now we're forcing a Game 7. We're back in L.A. Frank, I got to ask you, what's going to happen?
I'm on record with Utah as my upset pick, but if you're the Clippers, you can't lose to Utah Game 7 on your home court. You just can't do it. I mean, you're a higher seed. Utah is a young team. It just can't happen. But I'm going to stick with Utah, and change is coming in LA after this because, I mean,
is Doc out if they lose? Doc out?
I think he's at least out as president and head of personnel and all the other president titles that he has, and he's just going to be, if he does keep his job, head coach Doc Rivers.
Okay. It's hard to be a GM and also the head coach. I'd say that. I agree with you on that, Frank.
No, not everybody can pull it off, but some people feel that they are worthy of that position, so the opportunity presented itself. I take nothing away from him, but again...
Oh, they gave it to him.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to turn down all that money, but, I mean, you look at it, Greg Popovich isn't his own GM. He brought in R.C. Buford, and it's like, you do it. So it's not for everybody.
Right.
And what are you guys' thoughts on the series, the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards, basically standing in line to see who's going to lose to Cleveland in the next round? I mean, let's call it like it is.
Listen, this was a matchup that we truly expected to see. I honestly thought it was going to be a sweep when Chicago came in and took the first 2, but
after Rondo got hurt, that was it.
Shout out to Boston for realizing the opportunity and capitalizing on it. Now you're facing a very hungry John Wall. And to be honest with you, I see this series going 7. Boston, Washington.
I do too, actually.
I see it going 7, and I can't give you a definitive winner in this game because the Wizards are at a point right now where I feel like, hey, we can beat these guys.
Look, Washington is loaded.
Yes.
I mean, Bradley Beal can play. They still have Marcin Gortat, and they made a move for the center.
You have Markieff Morris, too, don't they?
Yep.
One of the Morrises.
They
look the same. I get them confused.
They could make – I mean, they're going to be a tough matchup for anybody. This is not by no means going to be an easy one for Boston. I'm going to roll with Boston, there's a little animosity there too.
Yeah.
They've gone back and forth in the regular season.
They've had some good games in the regular season. This might be a better series than the next series because I think Cleveland's probably going to win the next one in 6, whoever they play. Yeah.
I mean, next round for Cleveland, who are they up against? Toronto.
Cleveland's had, a week and a half of rest, too?
Yeah, but you know what? A week and a half of rest, which I think is needed.
Could be good or bad for Game 1, though,
exactly.
at least. So if Toronto can go steal Game 1, might put a little pressure on Cleveland. It all depends on whether that series ends in 5 or whatever, or if they do push them to 6 or 7, that might give either Washington or Boston a little bit more time because they'll get beat up a little bit, too. So we'll see what's going to happen over there. And then obviously in the other division, Golden State's advanced already. Houston's advanced already. The Spurs have advanced, correct, or they got one more to go?
Nope, they're playing the Rockets.
Spurs
okay, so they've advanced as well. So we're just waiting on the Clippers-Utah series to see who's going to lose in the next round.
I mean, that series truly, it's like, you're just the lamb to the slaughter. That's what it is.
Good way to put it. Yeah,
I mean, there's no other way around that. Going back to Cleveland-Toronto for just a moment, I remember last season when these two teams were playing each other. Toronto, a lot of people slept on them, and Toronto shocked a lot of people as far as, their hunger and their intensity to feel like, okay, we can match this team. We can beat this team. However, what they forgot was this was LeBron's destiny. So,
well, that's why they went out and traded for Serge Ibaka.
Now,
Yep.
PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
They have some players. I mean,
DeMar DeRozan can play.
And Kyle Lowry's not injured anymore, so he's there. So they can contend. We'll just see, though.
If I'm Cleveland, this can't go more than 5 games. If I'm Cleveland, I'm like, I don't care what we got to do. We got to be out in 5. Because if this game goes to a 6 or 7, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have to give a slighter edge to either Boston or Washington, whoever comes out. Because these two teams are young, and I think they've got the durability to last with the Cleveland if Cleveland goes 6 or 7 games against Toronto. Because Toronto's every game, they're going to go out there and be like, we almost had this team last year. We need to capitalize on this moment. We cannot let LeBron be LeBron. We cannot let Kyrie be Kyrie. We need to show these guys, no. You may have got us once. It ain't going to happen again. And if I'm Cleveland, I'm like, I don't want to go 6 or 7 with this team. I remember what they did to us. Mm-hmm. So, therefore, out in 5.
It's a different Cleveland team now, though. I mean,
it is.
They got a lot healthier. J.R. Smith's back. Kevin Love's back. They brought in Kyle Korver. They got Deron Williams on the bench. I mean, what a stacked team that, of course, when you're winning, all the veterans want to come for lower money and a chance to win that ring. And but we'll see. Like I said, we had said this in a couple previous shows too. It would be great to see Boston and Cleveland, and Boston has that home court advantage because basically Cleveland gave it to them, and see if that comes back to bite them. But we'll see. I think the series is going to be pretty good, though.
And if you look, Cleveland let Indiana score a whole lot of points in that series, even though, I know it was a sweep and they won 4-0, but Indiana put up a lot of numbers.
They could have stole a couple of those games.
And Toronto, I think, has more playmakers than Indiana does.
One last question before we go to baseball. Paul George, is he going to the Lakers? Is this it? Is it done?
He's not staying in Indiana.
No,
Larry Bird stepped down.
Larry Bird, bye-bye.
So, all right, yes or no? Is he going to the Lakers? Paul George.
He's going somewhere. He won't be in Indiana.
I say he's either going to the Lakers or the Celtics, but it's probably going to be the Lakers.
Great Al Bushman?
I'm going to say Lakers.
All right.
And I think either Gordon Hayward or Jimmy Butler end up in green. And I'm hoping it's Hayward because I just think he fits the system better, but we'll see.
All right. Final piece of the show today. It is baseball season, so we got to talk about them. They are now 500, sitting at 12-12. They won last night against, everybody's beating up Toronto, so I guess it really doesn't matter.
6-17 to start the season. Good job, Toronto.
Unbelievable. But Great Al Bushman, let's talk about your Rays. I guess you're 500, so you're, even keel right now.
We're mediocre right now.
You're mediocre.
Pruitt got another win last night. I know. It's crazy.
Keep talking bad about it.
I will keep talking bad about it.
Watch him be like a Golden Glove or Cy Young Award winner.
They did one thing they're normally not good at is coming from behind and winning a game. So,
okay.
They had a big...
Well, wait a minute. The games that you and I were at last season, the couple of games that we were at, we saw the Rays come back from being down.
Yeah, but they normally don't.
All right.
Well, but it is Toronto, so anybody can come back from it.
That's what I'm saying. This is Toronto. Do
so
we
they had
want to count this series?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the Yankees are playing the Orioles. They got a series together. So the Yankees came back from a 9-1 deficit last night and won in extras.
I'm going to call it like it is. I think the Yankees thus far in the season have overachieved.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the scheme of the AL East right now, Baltimore and the Yankees tied at 14-7, then Boston at 12-10, and then the Rays at 12-12. All those teams are going to be in the mix. I think it's going to be a long season. Obviously, we're only 24, 25 games in or whatnot. So we'll see how things pan out. But I think the Yankees thus far have overachieved, and I don't think that they're going to be able to keep that momentum going. Another division that I think is pretty much a coin flip right now, the NL Central, which even the lowest team in the division is only 2.5 games back. Literally everybody's sitting basically clumped up with, the Cubs, the Cardinals, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati.
Well, Milwaukee's only in it because Thames is hitting home runs every single day of the year. So, I mean, he's up to 11 home runs now. He's on pace to hit 81 for the year.
Woohoo! Wait a minute.
Somebody get him checked for those
right
PEDs.
Philly's at 11-10. I didn't even realize this. Hold on, we got a winning record now.
Yeah, Jeremy Hellickson went.
I mean, we're 4 games back from Washington, but hey.
Phillies actually aren't that bad this year. So going back to the Rays, they were down 2-1 in the 8th, and then 3 dingers in a row: Dickerson, Longoria, and then I believe it was Logan Morrison with a 2-run shot. So they came out and won, beat Toronto. So yeah, I mean, listen, I've beat them up this year because every time I talk good about them, they start having losing streaks. So there's a couple of nights ago where they had another display of bad fielding. So I think they've been their Achilles heel so far this season is bad defense. If they can get rid of bonehead, dumbass mistakes, then they'll still. I mean, they're in the mix right now at 12-12 in that division. But if they get rid of the stupid mistakes, they could be in a formidable playoff push maybe later on in the season. And plus, they're getting guys back too. I mean, Colby Rasmus is coming back. Wilson Ramos is coming back pretty soon. So they've got guys coming up that could help the Rays, especially in offense and defense. So
all right. As always, I have to ask. It is your team. Is
there a timeline when
season.
David Price is coming back for you guys?
I haven't heard. I know that they keep saying he's close, and then I'll read other reports that say that he's still going to be down for a while.
I don't want to jinx you, Craig, but it might come down to it where he's going to have to go and get Tommy John.
I thought he was going to have to get it anyway, so I'm actually happy that he hasn't gotten it yet.
But if he's not back now, and they said he was going to be back the second.
My scare is that they kept him out. He hasn't got the surgery. Then he comes back and he throws one game and then needs the surgery.
I say they shut him down. They're going to have to put him in Tommy John pretty soon. It's going to happen. It has.
We're staying afloat with a lot of injuries right now, so we'll see how the season progresses.
Any surprises for you guys so far for Major League Baseball this past season?
The fact that the Phillies have a winning season at 11-10.
Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, they've been playing some really good baseball.
I mean, I don't know if they can keep it up, but I had them in the cellar basically in that division, and the fact that they're in first, I was shocked.
I mean, Toronto actually is a surpriser for me. I thought their bats were good enough to at least get them around 500 or above. A lot of baseball analysts had them actually competing for the division or at least at the very minimum a wild card spot, and they look to be out of it. Obviously it's a long season. They have a lot of games to be played, but they are playing terrible baseball.
One surprise for me is Cleveland. Cleveland's only at 500 right now, and in that division, they should be the best team. In that
they're
division.
Half a game behind the White Sox.
Still, man.
They're 12-10.
Yeah, it is a long
White
season.
Sox are 12-9.
It is a long season. I'm sure they'll.
I mean, this isn't like the Mets who are just deteriorating in front of us. They went from being, one of the top teams in the NL East. Now they're 9-13 and last in the NL East. I mean, hell, the Braves are doing better than the New York Mets. That right there should tell you one team that's kind of sliding and dropping there.
I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised with New York because they had such a great pitching rotation. All their guys are just going down like flies and dead people.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dark Knight, Matt Harvey, is pretty much his career could be over. Syndergaard is on the DL now. So what happened to that? The Avengers pitching rotation there is
I have no idea.
Crazy. But I'm really excited to see, and this kid has been nothing but a phenom ever since he came up. Is Bryce Harper, man? He's got a resurgence season so far. He's knocking the crap out of the ball. He had a down season last season, but now he's just back in true MVP form so far in the league. So
I'm just here refreshing my phone because New England has a pick here in about 4 picks. So switching back to the NFL. But it is round 4 in the NFL draft, and I'm sure we're going to recap the drafts in full
on Tuesday.
Again on Tuesday here in the studio.
We've got Dickie V coming in studio Tuesday.
Actually, yeah, Dickie V. Dick Vitale will be here Tuesday. We've got an interview with him talking about his gala, of course, coming up on the 12th of May. And
Cinco de Drinko on Friday.
Whole nother level. Going to be back at Ferg's.
Cinco de Drinko.
Yeah. We're going to be there.
We're all wearing sombreros, right?
Yes. We have to get
Who's getting where are we getting these sombreros? I used to have one.
Party City's got
City.
All right.
sombreros.
Maybe I can ask Jose. Maybe he actually has some.
And then May 13th, we're going to be at Lakewood Ranch, ODA, Outdoor Academy, for the pros versus semi-pros flag football tournament. Whole nother level is going to be broadcasting live out there. We're going to be doing some interviews as well. That's going to be a fun-filled day for us.
What day is that again? Tell the people.
It's going to be May 13th.
Okay.
Saturday, May 13th. We're going to be out
211.
there.
Yeah.
We got some bad
That
news
night.
on that one. Unfortunately, we were unable to secure a spot to do a show.
Don't say the name of the company.
I'm not.
Because they're not worthy of my.
No, I'm not. We're not. We're just simply saying things didn't work out. We will try to re-engage at a later date, but at this time, we are not going to be doing. We had originally slated to do a UFC 211 show, but we're not going to do it.
I love Buffalo Wild Wings. Though.
The card is, I mean.
No, the card is
card is
stacked.
The card is stacked.
Listen,
yeah, just
Tuesday.
ridiculous.
You know what? We might even do. We might take some time. We'll see if we can get Zach in studio.
We could do a live broadcast from someone's house,
You and
actually.
Zach.
Why don't we do that while watching UFC?
211.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who's gonna buy it?
I will say this to you,
Collective
Craig.
effort?
Oh, there. Okay, I like that.
I
idea.
will say this to you, Craig, because we did not get this. We did not secure the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I already made plans to go out that night.
Okay.
So
Look
because
at you.
well, listen,
He's
we
going
have
man about
Mr.
town.
Popular.
we
Jeez.
have,
About town,
I got to
man.
market our
Popular
show
here.
here. I got to get
Mr.
this brand
Popular.
up and running, baby.
We got to
So-
ask Dickie V for some gala tickets. I'm just going to come out and do it. Dickie V, if you're listening, we're going to have you on Tuesday. We would all like to be there at the gala. We were there last year,
You know, we can.
and we would
hit
like
it.
to see
We
you.
can be like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah, we can hit.
Be like, hey, what about your gala? You got any extra tickets?
We can
up?
definitely talk.
We'll
to him.
donate some money, too. You know, not a lot like, some of these ballers around town, but, we'll see what happens.
Man, last year that money was just flying, baby. We were all there, and
So it was
when
open.
They did,
was it
when
open
they-
bar?
Yeah.
Nice.
And when they did the auction, whoo, they started the auction on some of these prizes. Like one was it was a 1 day, you got to go behind the scenes at Good Morning America because, of course, they were honoring the great Robin Roberts. So they had tables, and they started the bidding at $5,000. Shot all the way up to 22, 23 grand just to have this
for them.
experience. And another table kept running with there were two tables that kept going back and forth to where graciously Robin Roberts said, okay, since you're going to do it for this amount and you said you'll equal it, we'll do two of them. You know what I mean? I was amazed by the amount of money. And again, it's to support a truly, truly great cause. It is to help end the fight against pediatric cancer. The stories that you hear that night they're moving. And I know this year is going to be a little more emotional for Dick Vitale because last year we lost a great John Saunders, a man who I looked up to both personally and professionally.
Crazy. I actually took a picture with him at the last gala, and a few months later,
yeah,
he wasn't with us anymore. He looked in perfect health to me. So
he did. I walked up to him last year, and I was like, I met you 7 years ago when you folks were here at this event. It's an honor just to be around you. Shook my hand. I completely agree with you. He looked like he was great.
He was in good spirits
yes.
for being there, and he honored a bunch of people. He was up on stage multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I know this year is going to be a little, and I'm sure, Dickie V is going to talk a lot about his best friend, John Saunders, but we're looking forward to that interview. We're looking forward to pros versus semi-pros at the ODA.
We'll film Dickie V live, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. We'll definitely put him up there. Listen, he'll do it himself. He's on Periscope all the time.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
baby.
we'll just
Buy
have
my
him.
book, $29.95, baby. Let's go.
Please don't do that.
I'm not
Tuesday.
Don't trust me. I won't do that.
I'm going to ask him what his favorite thing at Chart House is on the
Well,
menu.
we're doing. Hey, can you be here early? Because we're doing it at like 10 a.m.
10 a.m. on Tuesday.
That's the only time I could do it, baby.
It's the only time we could schedule.
Only time.
That I did not know.
Ooh, yeah.
That might make it actually easier to be here or harder. I'll have to let you know on that.
Okay.
So I'm either a yes or a definite no.
All right.
There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground, and I probably can't tell you until Monday night.
That's fine.
Yeah, baby.
That's fine. That was the only time we could actually slate to get him in studio. He was gracious enough to say yes and said he would do it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But for those of you who can't be here or tune in live when we do it, we'll make sure we'll have the replay for you that night when we do our show. So for Frank Mazzei, Craig Cousin, the Great Al Bushman, this is your man Eric Wilson. Until Tuesday, we have taken you to a whole nother level, and we'll see you next time.
Gee, Ray, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Autobots, transform and roll out!